The views expressed are those of the program host and guest and are not those of WSTU. WSTU endorse products that may be mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WSTU. The phone lines are open. Call in with your questions and comments at 220-9788. That's 220-WSTU. It's time for Stewart Laser Talk with your host, Dr. Tred J. Rizacker.
I'm 5'10" and 242 pounds.
I always say this is the biggest I'm ever going to be, and I said that like 20 pounds ago.
A third of Americans are obese. Another third is overweight.
Obesity is the biggest threat to the health, welfare, and future of this country.
I've always been overweight.
I've got diabetes.
Sleep apnea, heart disease.
Everything's hurting now.
It's a lot easier to lose weight than it is to keep weight off.
This is probably going to be the first generation of children who are going to have a shorter life expectancy than their parents.
18% of our children right now are obese.
It's not only health, it's about survival and well-being of the United States as a nation.
You don't crave broccoli, and our generation has grown up craving a Big Mac.
I want to think that there's something better for me.
Unless we're able to control this epidemic, we're going to have an abundance of chronic disease.
All of us have to be part of the solution to reduce obesity.
The weight of the nation is out of control, but we can fix that.
If we don't now take this as a really urgent national priority, we are all going to pay a really serious price.
Obesity will crush the United States in oblivion.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Tred Rizacker, and I am a licensed doctor of chiropractic going on 30 years of practice. Wow, I just had an anniversary, and I want to welcome you to another show of my Slim Body Laser Spa Health and Wellness Show. Of course, our emphasis is on how today's medical lasers are being used to help you to look better, to feel better without less effort. More effective, predictable, results-oriented procedure. So it's really about laser-assisted weight loss. And my program can be heard right here on WSTU 1450 AM every Tuesday from 9 to 10 o'clock with a simulcast on Friday from 9 to 10 o'clock. It's my weight loss center and whole body rejuvenation center is called the Slim Body Laser Spa. And I am located in Stewart, and I've been providing a safe, sane alternative to surgical liposuction procedure for over 7 years. Wow, that's a misprint. I have a saying at the Slim Body Laser Spa that anyone who still considers surgical liposuction as their first option, if they're trying to look better or feel better, is really stuck in the year 2004 or earlier. At the Slim Body Laser Spa, my low-level laser services are FDA cleared as safe, and they actually release the stubborn fat naturally in a series of 9 laser sessions in 3 weeks. Each laser session is 30 minutes long with 10 to 20 minutes of whole body vibration. Don't eat food 2 hours before, no food 2 hours afterwards. Be willing to eat light during the whole 3 weeks. Try to avoid any empty calories such as alcohol and sugar. And the inch loss results will be absolutely shockingly effective. The inch loss results occur the same day, and there is not any sacrifice of any downtime. It does not involve any pain or swelling and can be utilized by all ages from 18 to 95 years old. We can help people lose unwanted fat and reduce waist sizes regardless of how much fat you have, regardless of your so-called slow metabolism. I specialize in those people who have failed at weight loss before, or people who are eating good, exercising often, but are just not able to get the results in specific pesky areas like arms, muffin top, back fat, thighs, front of the abdomen. Since each case is specifically overseen by me personally, I can handle many different persons with difficult situations, such as type 1 or type 2 diabetes, persons with breathing conditions, such as COPD or asthma, or those who cannot exercise, and those who, for one reason or another, just need help getting started on a better plan for weight loss and or body sculpting. So my discussion today is how my laser-assisted weight loss system is being used to help us remove or melt away stubborn fat pockets, fat deposits, belly fat, arm fat, back fat, bra bulges, muffin tops, double chins. You get the picture, right? You can get faster, high definition, and amazing results with body fat reduction and body sculpting by using our modern lasers, which are designed to literally melt away unwanted fat while you lie on your back and listen to music. Do I need to repeat that? You can lose inches while you lie on your back and listen to music. Maybe I should say that again. You can literally lie on your back and listen to music and melt away inches. And we're 5,000 clients strong in 7 years. It is really that easy. There's absolutely no pain, no discomfort, no harsh dieting, and no strenuous exercise at all. In 9 30-minute laser sessions in 3 weeks, most of our clients will lose 3 to 9 inches measured in 3 places around their belly, 1 to 3 inches in their upper arm, 2 to 5 inches in girth with some skin tightening in thighs and around the buttocks. So we are located at 2311 Southeast Ocean Boulevard. That's in Stewart. Our phone number is 772-223-5885. I have a website. It's slimbodylaserspa.com. And there's a lot of videos. There's over 30 patient testimonial videos on the website. There are podcasts. These shows that I do here on the radio have been transferred into podcasts. And if you go to my website and you click on the podcast link, you can see I got about 15 shows there that you can click on and listen to, and they're directly as recorded here, but put into a podcast. And that way, maybe there's somebody in your life that you hear about what we do here, yet there's nowhere available in their hometown, somewhere up north, maybe on the other side of Florida. This is a very unique process I'm doing. They can click in on the podcast and learn all about the procedure from yours truly, Dr. Tread. So it's been a great, great thing. The spa is located across the street from the Fresh Market on East Ocean Boulevard. And that's the road which takes you out to the beaches over through Hutchinson Island, up over those big bridges that they've built recently. Well, on the before you get to that, there's a group of stores there, and we're located next to Carmela's Pizza and the Chef's Table Plaza there. And we sit right up by the front road, and there's a 3-tier fountain that you can see when you go by. And I want to give a shout out to CNC Canvas, because they are in the process of redoing my awning. Finally, after a year since the hurricane took it down, I managed to scrape up enough fat dollars to put this new awning on. So that was really great. And thank you so much to those guys that are out there in that hot sun. So let's face it, if losing fat were easy, everybody would be doing it, right?
That's right.
That's right. As of 2017, 70% of us, all adults in America, are overweight. Since 2018, only one short year later, the obesity epidemic for adult women went from 30% of adult women to 40%. That's a 25% increase in prevalence in less than a year. And 40% of adult women. So those are people over 18 right up to 95, that 40% are obese. And what that means is that 30% of their body weight, 30% of your weight is now become fat. And the rest of the weight, the other 70%, is lean muscle, water, and bone. And that ratio, that 30 to 70% ratio, is a very unhealthy ratio when you have too much body fat. It can really, really wear you down. It puts a lot of pressure on your joints, on your knees, on your feet. It puts enormous stress on the cardiovascular system to pump blood through all those extra, fatty calories. There's a statistic that shows that 1 pound of fat equals a mile of blood vessels just to support it. And of course, fat is far from inert, meaning it does more than just store calories and keep you warm. It's actually an endocrine organ. It produces hormones, endocrine hormones, one of them being estrogen. Did you know that your fat produces estrogen?
It's weird.
You think
It's weird
estrogen is produced by female hormones or
Right.
organs. Well,
Exactly.
it's produced by fat.
Ugh.
One of the sources of it. Okay, it's produced, and it's something you need a lot of. So I guess our creator decided that he'd have multiple ways we can make estrogen, which leads me to for you to understand that men have fat too, and they can produce estrogen also from their own fat. So the fatty, when it becomes 30%, there's a lot of hormones that are being kicked up into the system. And another one is a hormone called a cytokine, cytokine, Cytokine. And these are a group of hormones which are mediators. They actually mediate the inflammatory reaction. They mediate inflammation. So, to mediate means to lead, to try to solve a problem. You go into mediation. So these mediators are produced by fat in response to injury. And these cytokines flow through the tissues and they get around the area where the injury is and they help promote the inflammation. Well, when you have body fat, which is of a normal percentage, which is under 20%, under 25, 15 to 25% is normal, 30 and 40 is abnormal. Those cytokines and those amounts of estrogen that the body produces are not a problem. They don't make you sick. It's a normal, healthy response. But what happens is when that body fat percentage starts to increase, now you're increasing, these hormones are coming out more liberally, and they make you sick. They make you feel bad. They give you inflammation. It can cause the swelling of your hands and feet and joints. The estrogen that the body kicking out with that fat is now producing estrogen changes within your body, and that's more feministic appearance. It can also lead to there's another hormone that fat releases, and it's called resistin. To resistin. And the idea of resistin is it resists insulin. It is a hormone produced by the fat cells that when you have too much of these fat cells, which could be critically bad for a person, the body resists the effect of insulin, which leads to type 2 diabetes. This is one of the factors of many, but this resistant, when it's at a high level, resists insulin, and it's coming from the fat. And there's a whole host of other hormones that the body produces from fat cells. So, and then over time, we start to wear down. Our body becomes worn down by these extra calories. And you have to say, why would the body get so sickened with these extra calories? I mean, it's something that has been a natural occurrence. You basically eat food to replace energy that you expend, right, Mike? You're out there working in the yard. Yep. You're cutting the lawn. You're cutting down trees. You're burning energy, right? The reason we have food is to replace that energy that we burned. So as long as the energy that you burn for the day is equal to how much you're eating in the day, you don't gain weight. You don't get too much fat.
Right.
Now you're always going to develop some fat because fat is important for the day-to-day calories that you need. So, but you don't become, obese or overly weight. But what happens is humans traditionally have lived in a very food scarce environment. I mean, if you go back to maybe not your grandparents, maybe not their grandparents, maybe not their great-great-great-grandparents, but you go back, 10,000 years in our history, and we were in a very food scarce environment. There wasn't a lot of food on the ground. In fact, there's a lot of food in the summer and the winter. I mean, in the summer and the fall, and then winter time, pretty much is tough to get food. I like to camp. I'm an outdoorsman. I love to bring my tent and, and sit out and fall asleep under the stars. I rarely go camping in the winter. It's cold. Everything is frozen. You can't, you can't find any food. Winter is rough. You better have a lot of stored food in the winter. And your ancestors who didn't have the advent of canned food and all the preservatives we have, they were very food scarce in the wintertime. So it was essential, absolutely critical. The most important thing they could think of doing is to put on fat before the winter. Fatten up, you got a better chance of surviving a lack of food. So that is one of the main reasons why we can accumulate fat so quickly as people. You hear it all the time. Gosh, I look at food and I get fat. I'm hardly eating anything and I'm getting fat. I used to not be like this. Now that I'm getting older, I just seem to put on calories. I can't seem to ever lose them. And this is not a freakazoid happening. This is not abnormal. This is a normal response, which is why it's so common. Now, here's the kicker about this. Let's go back to your ancestors. I really believe you can learn a lot from your ancestors if you listen. And, so now they go into this feeding frenzy. It's fall and there's a lot of food on the ground and they're eating and they go into this winter situation, whether they go into a cave or hide under the cliff or run, wherever they go, they don't have a lot of food. And what happens is the body will burn calories very slowly. It will put on calories very quickly. And then when it comes to losing fat, it does it very slowly. And it's a very important thing that's how it happens, because you don't want to lose your calories as quickly as you put them on. If you got 2 weeks, you could literally in 2 weeks put on 20 to 30 pounds in 2 or 3 weeks, eating a lot. You could probably put on more than that, but it will take you 2 to 4 months to lose those 30 pounds. And that's a good thing. So your ancestors function very well, eating a lot, getting fat, and then starving and not eating for a long time and losing those calories. And then the next year they do it again. And they lose the fat over the winter. They bulk up in the summer. They lose the fat over the winter. So this ability to lose and gain weight is a normal occurrence. I just can't emphasize that enough. Now, what's abnormal, what's bad, what's not good? Even 20 pounds is carrying fat beyond the winter. You've bulked up a little bit in the fall, a lot of food, Thanksgiving, you put some pounds on. Now you go into this winter situation, and fortunately, we have a lot of food available. We are now in a food-rich environment for the most part, unless you're in an area that's impoverished or something. You have food all winter long. So you're never losing the calories that you developed over the summer. So you're carrying 10 pounds, 30 pounds. That doesn't sound like a lot, but over your BMR, over your normal burning metabolic rate, how much you exercise, how old you are, if you're carrying 20 pounds for 5 or 10 years, it is enough to make you sick. This extra weight over time, never losing it, creates physiological and detrimental changes to your physiology over time. And it is the number one cause of preventable illness that we have today in America. The number one cause of preventable illness. It used to be cigarette smoking. Stop smoking, you can prevent illness, right? Now, and then it's also don't drink and drive. Alcohol in cars doesn't do too well. Today, the number one cause of preventable illness is overeating and becoming obese and sedentary. And that obesity and that sedentary lifestyle, that lack of movement at the same time, is like a double whammy, and it's lessening our lifespan. It's causing increased amounts of diabetes. It's increasing the joint replacement need to replace your joints, your knees and your hips and your ankles. And, the weight creates a pressure on those joints and they give out, and we end up in the orthopedics office with bilateral knees and bilateral hips. This extra weight is creating stress on our cardiovascular system, and it's creating the problems of increasing of strokes and heart failure over time, because the heart has to work extra hard when it has all this extra calories. These extra calories over time also spew out all of these hormones, these estrogen and these resistant hormones and these cytokines, and these over time, they create high blood pressure, they create high blood sugar, they create high cholesterol and high triglycerides. And then they collect in your arteries as a form of plaque. And we end up suffering as a culture with it, does that sound, do you understand that?
Oh yeah.
I mean, is it too much to believe? So let's go down to the grocery store this morning, Publix, or if there's any Winn-Dixies left, how about that? They're closing them all.
Yeah.
I was pretty surprised about that. Anyway.
Not all of them.
Well, I guess you go to, but you can still go to Walmart and you can still go to Aldi's, but go in there and look at the, your wonderful community that shows up there, and how many of them have hard time walking through the aisles. They have to have assistance. They're enormous. So many people, so enormous. And that they really are not healthy. So I want to do something about that. I have a solution for this. It really is true. Many of my clients have attested that 100 sit-ups and 800 calories a day couldn't change their belly fat. And, because it's been stressed by too much food and too much stress and not enough exercise and a decrease in hormones. Many of my clients, when they come in, their metabolism is in the basement. I think it's below the basement. It's so slow. And they're addicted to sweets to feel better, because you get that instant pop of energy with carbohydrates. And they're spiraling out of control like a plane that is going to crash. My experience as a doctor who specializes in weight loss for over 20 years now has proven that it can be very difficult for some and almost impossible for others to lose weight, especially for those of you who have accumulated larger amounts of fat, or who have been suffering from a decline in your hormones, or you can no longer exercise because of your physical problems. Well, I want you to know, hooray, hoorah! I have found a solution, and it's called laser-assisted weight loss. It worked for me. Let me repeat that. It worked for me. I was 265 pounds. I had a 40-inch waist, bilateral neuropathy, pain in my left knee, tired, lethargic, sleeping during the afternoons because I couldn't stay awake, eating food to make me feel better. And I just couldn't muster the energy or the discipline to really change it, enough to make changes to my body. Weight loss and exercise are part of anybody's lifestyle, but it takes a long time to get results. And for me, I just didn't have the time or the desire to do that. I'm not alone there, but I knew I would. When things got really bad, I would do it. But they didn't seem that bad yet. And in December of 2012, 2 years into owning the Slim Body Laser Spa, which was really just for aesthetics at the time, we didn't do a lot of weight loss. I developed an onset of my type 2 diabetes that was quite severe.
Oh boy.
The symptoms were way over the top compared to what I'd been dealing with. I could almost ignore and blow off some of the other old symptoms as possibly just, I was out too long. I've been drinking too much water. I'm getting older. That's why I'm having getting up a couple times at night to pee. I could relate and blow all this off, but eventually it became really obvious that I was in a blood sugar crisis, and it was called hyper, too much blood sugar glycemia. And my friends and doctors I talked to and everything I've been reading was pointing me to get serious about weight loss, to get serious about losing inches, to do something more than just promises and signing up at the gym and not showing. So I used my own laser. First, I developed a actually, it wasn't low fat. It was low carbohydrate. I cut out the refined carbohydrates. I cut out the sugars, okay? And I developed a diet plan that gave me 2,000 calories a day. And that was 400 calories less than my basal metabolic rate, which is how many calories I burn anyway. So by eating less, and I combined that into 6 equal meals, I had breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I had a snack between breakfast and lunch, a snack between lunch and dinner, and a snack after dinner. Each one of those meals was 50 to 75% protein. And after 4 weeks of eating better and using my laser, I reduced my waist size from a size 40 waist to a 36 in 12 sessions. Only lost about 6 pounds. I thought I would lose more weight, but really, because I was losing inches, I wasn't losing as much weight. And then for the next 3 months, I continued to eat my low calorie, this new eating way of cutting out the sugars. And I lost 10 pounds a month for 3 months. At the end of the 4th month, I was down 38 pounds. Wow. I mean, I was absolutely I looked better. I felt better. My diabetes improved. And I decided to take this program on the road and tell more people about it and incorporate it into my my regular plan. So that's my story, and that's my own testimonial. And I have a friend waiting online to share his story with us. And without any further ado, Lee, are you there?
Yes.
Hey, welcome. Clap your hands. Like Juan does, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk. How did you hear about us? You're a client, right?
Yes.
At the spa.
Right.
Okay. So tell me how you heard about us.
I got one of these health newspapers thrown in my driveway. I live out in St. Lucie West in an area called Tradition.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just one of these free papers they throw in the driveway, and it was all about health. So I just started reading all through it, and I read your story in there, and decided that I have a situation coming up where I have to take a physical Labor Day, and I figured I had to get my weight down, mainly my weight. Definitely wanted to get my size down. I have a big stomach, but the weight was
it's hard to lose. It's hard to lose weight and keep a big belly, you know. So they both have to go.
Right.
Good. And you came into the spa, right? You met with me. I remember.
Yes.
And I explained the program.
Everything went very smooth.
Yep. And it made sense? The program was reasonable and easy to do. And how do you feel about the program?
The program is very easy to do. It's like anything else, as long as you follow the guidelines. I don't care what it is. It's very, it's all laid out for you.
That's important, by the way, for people. That way, there's less chance of messing up. It's like a checklist on an airplane, you know?
Yeah, it's not some quick fix. They don't try to tell you, in 30 days you're going to lose 15 pounds and 7 inches. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
it's very realistic. It's a very realistic, attainable goal.
Well, I felt, as your doctor and someone who did the consultation on you, that you had the desire. You just needed the plan. You needed the accountability and the goal setting. You know,
right?
I know that you like to fly. I know you're a pilot, and remember, when you first, there's a lot of people that would love to fly, but they need training.
Right.
You know, they got to know how to do it and the rules that involve it, and take some training, and then they can be good pilots. So it's kind of like that with weight loss, believe it or not. There's a lot of misunderstanding, and a lot of people want to do it, but don't really have the tools and the ability. So by coming into the Slim Body, you get those rules and those goals, and it's provided to you, and then you can do it or not do it. So how many
very
inches?
Easy. It's basically, it's no different than getting in your car and going somewhere. You have to have a map and a plan.
That's right.
So whether it be losing weight or driving a car or taking a trip or flying a helicopter or doing anything, you still have to have a plan. You just don't get in and start the motor up and say, well, okay, in an hour I'm going to be in Atlanta. I mean, you got to have some plan on how you're going to get there, whether it be the speed and fuel or it's basically the same thing with the diet. You have to have a map or a plan, and sometimes that's what it takes. It takes a professional to lay the map out for you and the plan. And
That's right.
You know,
and a goal.
and there's no reason
And you
from
had-
there. But you have to follow the map and the plan.
And you had a goal, which is this,
You
this
definitely have to have a
exam you
goal,
have
right.
coming up, which is so important to your life. That's how I knew you were going to be successful. When you had said that, I said, oh, this guy's going to do great. He's got a reason to be here, and no problem. You gave me enough time. You didn't give me just a week. I get that sometimes. I got 2 weeks, Doc. I'm like, oh gosh, I don't think we can do this in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
That's great, Lee.
No, everything went very.
How many? So let's talk numbers here.
Sure.
How many inches have you lost?
Well, depending on how you measure it, okay. The main thing I look at is that
Your pants.
by the clothes I wear. Okay, I have come down 2 inches off my waist.
Okay.
I believe though that you measure it more up and down, not necessarily just around my waist, because your belly goes up maybe.
Well, we measure the
5 or 6
top,
inches
right.
roughly.
We measure the top, the middle, and the lower part. But then
Right.
and so let's say that was a 6-inch loss. You would divide it by 3, which would be 2 inches in girth.
Right.
Right. And I saw you yesterday when you showed me the back of your pants, how they're all pulled
yeah.
together there.
Yeah.
You got your belt on, and it looks like you got pants of a larger person. And you said you were hanging on to them until you get to your desired, and then you're going to go buy all new clothes, right?
Right, because see, I just happened to buy. I got to the point where I couldn't wear the clothes anymore. I happened to buy these jeans about 2 weeks before the program, and I mean they were tight. I mean,
Yeah.
I could have went to a bigger size even.
Yeah.
But these were snug. At least I could get them buttoned. So I look at that. That's kind of gives me a little charge every day. And believe me, I watch these things every day. I wear them every day because I put that in my head when I walk out the door in the morning. Well, here's where I was, and here's where I am. And,
It's like
a week from now,
it's like a
only going
caliper.
to get better. The pants are going to get looser in another week. You know?
It's like a set of calipers, before you go. You got to
Yeah.
check the tire depth,
Yeah.
the tread depth, and it's we're good today.
Right.
Jump in them and
right.
you go. And I know that you lost how many pounds? 13 or something?
I've lost from based off
From the
your,
start?
your weight and your body fat and everything. You had me when you weighed me in office, you had me at 222 and 35% body weight.
Right.
Okay, I'm at 208. I'm at 208 and 31% body weight. And
Nice.
7 weeks to the day yesterday.
And you're 70, right?
72 years
72 years old. Fantastic. Lowering body fat percentage and weight and doing it in a healthy way. What's better than that? That's great, Lee.
old. Oh, yeah.
I know you're going to be that physical is going to go good for you because you're disciplined. You're a disciplined man. Great.
Oh, I can see it now. It's a clear picture now, where before it was an unknown picture. I just kept telling myself, well, really, and I'm a professional, I'm a smart guy, but that don't mean you know everything. And
That's
listen,
right.
when it comes to whether it be your program or lasers, you guys are a professional. So just because I'm a pilot or I'm a smart guy, I still needed help, and you people have truly given me.
Believe me.
help. Everybody in your
If I needed
organization.
somebody to take me up in a helicopter and get me there safely, I'd call you. Don't trust me. I wouldn't know what to do.
Okay.
But I know you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, my friend. Thank you so much for your sharing of your story.
that's
it
okay.
really helps a lot of people because when they hear somebody else that they can relate to, they say to themselves, "God, if he can do it,
Let me
can
just
do
tell
it."
you. Let me just tell you one thing.
Sure.
That I was an Army pilot for a lot of years. Okay. One thing that I learned when I was going to flight school almost 50 years ago, and they keep pounding this in your head, and this applies to everyday life. And I never forgot this, okay? Quitting's easy.
Oh, quitting's easy.
Quitting's easy. I see it every day. I see it in the gym, too, where people come in and sign up and they get all enthused, and 2 weeks later they stop coming, because they're unrealistic goals. They figure, oh, well, in 2 weeks, I'm going to lose 2 or 3 inches because I'm going to the gym, and they forget about diet and laser and all the other stuff. They just think because like you say, just because they join the gym, it's like automatic or something.
Quitting's easy.
So,
I'm going to remember that.
quitting's
You know,
easy.
my dad used to say, like, be like the goose, you know, good or bad, right or wrong. You just keep trudging one foot in front of the other. Whether
That's
it rains or not, just keep moving forward.
That's it.
All right,
You
my
hit it
friend.
right on the head. So,
Thank you so much. We'll see you in the
Okay,
spa.
Doc.
Yep. Bye-bye, Lee.
yep. Thank you.
There
Good
you
stuff.
go. A little bit of wisdom of the ages, huh? Quitting's easy, Mike.
It always is. It's easy to quit.
That's right. Boy,
But
what a defeatist thought.
one of the
Yeah.
profound things I thought he said was having that goal in mind. And that's why they always say, you know, working out or diet and exercise with a partner, whether it's a wife, a friend, or something like that, and you can set that mutual goal and make sure that it's realistic. That is sometimes the only thing that can get people to stay focused and to not give up and to not quit.
Yeah. And a really important goal reasoning why. Now, he's taking a physical exam and he wants to keep flying, and it's really critical that he passes the exam. You know, it's his life. It's his passion is to cut holes in the air with helicopters, you know, and as you get older, things change and, you know, they'll ground you for medical reasons.
Sure.
So that's important. And again, you know, the reason why I opened up the beginning of my program, if you just tuned in, you're listening to Dr. Rissacker at the Slim Body Laser Spa Health and Wellness Show. I really went over the effects of weight and fat on our health. It is a big risk of dying prematurely, heart disease, stroke, diabetes, foot amputations, chronic inflammation, having hip replacements, low quality of life because of this fatty accumulation that's happening, this grossly overweight population that we're dealing with. And I can honestly say that that's the truth. I am not throwing sticks at anybody. In fact, I want to be helpful. I don't mean that in a bad way. I don't mean that in a resentful way or to discredit people that are struggling. But you know what? It's a lot harder than you realize to get the weight off to a certain point. And knowing if you don't, you're going to die prematurely or have a lower quality of life while you go through life. I did a consult this week, and guys in his 70s, late 70s, and you know, he has a lot of he's overweight. I think his body fat percentage was over 34%, which is quite high. And he knows he's got to lose weight. But when I asked him about his overall health, he was, I'm blessed to be a healthy guy. I'm really, I'll tell you, Doc, I've never had any surgeries. I've never had any of these things. I've been a healthy guy. No, things are good, you know? And so I said, so what medications are you on? Well, you know, I do have to take something for my blood pressure. Okay. And, you know, but I never had any heart problems. And, you know, and he said, it's under control with blood pressure. And he said, I do have to take something for my blood sugar. I'm only on the minor dose of metformin. So, and it's been managed and it's been stayed low as a result of taking the meds. And I said, so are you on a statin? You know, well, yes, I am. I'm on the drug, which the doctor recommended that my cholesterol is getting a little high, and it's been managed with that medicine. So each and every of these three, heart, cholesterol, blood sugar, were all showing elevated signs, which were managed through pharmaceuticals. So, and the belief is that I'm okay because these numbers are down.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens if you stop taking the meds? The numbers go up, don't they?
Yeah.
So are you really finding, is it really is it curative? Are those meds curing the problem, correcting why it's happening? No, it's really not. Yes, please. If you're on meds, keep taking them. Okay. Don't get me wrong here, but you know, it's not. And I looked right at him and I said, you know, sir, I don't want to say his name. I said, your systems are in free fall. Your body is in free fall. Your heart, your pressure is going up. The cholesterol is going up. and your blood sugar is no longer being managed naturally. So you are in free fall heading towards a calamity of a fall. So just because you're on meds didn't change any of that, as far as the real reason why hasn't been addressed yet. Now, he was at the office to get help with his weight, and I applaud him. And I'm only using this example because there's a lot of you out there that are listening to this program and you're on those meds, and you are, and you sit down and you look at that roll around your midsection. You say, well, I'll do it tomorrow. I just haven't found the energy. All I have to do is discipline and hit the gym and start eating better. I just got to cut out those sweets. It takes a lot more than that once you get older, 50, 60, 70, 80, and your health responds. And if you listen to what Mr. Lee just said to you, who's the testimony we just had, he started out, what did he say, 220 was his weight, and he had a body fat percentage of 34 or 35%. In 4 weeks, which is how long he's been at the spa, he's dropped 12 to 14 pounds, I think he said, and he's dropped 4% of his body fat has gone down.
That's awesome.
Hello, you can't walk into the endocrinologist's office or your GP and take medications and have those numbers change like that.
Right.
This is you got to lose weight. You got to exercise. You got to eat better. And we found a solution through the Slim Body to make it easy for you to go through this. Please know that your goal should not be to lose weight. Your goal should be to increase your lean muscle mass, decrease your fat percentage, and then allow your weight to be whatever it's going to be.
Why is it that so much of the way we talk and understand health is kind of backwards? The individuals, they go to the doctor's office, they've got high blood pressure, they think it's fixed by getting put on medication. It's not really fixed, the symptoms covered up.
Well, let's call
a
spade, man. Let's point it out, okay? Because their treatment, because they don't have a solution for you. They really don't have a true solution to cure the problem. So they palliate it with a symptomatic pill or drug so you can suffer comfortably. But you're still suffering, man. Do you know, Mike, you're young. I know you are.
Mm-hmm.
When I grew up, there was people, you'd go over to see one of your friend's house and one of their aunts or uncles or grandparents were in bed. I mean, they were laying down. Mm-hmm. They were so sick, and they lived at the house in bed. I remember seeing some of my friends in Massapequa, Long Island, and it would be like, oh, that's my aunt. She's very sick. She's got breathing problems or she's got arthritis and they can't move around. Do you know what they do today? They walk around because of drugs. They're suffering comfortably.
Mm-hmm.
They're still suffering. In other words, they're not reclined anymore. Now they're standing up and they're on meds. They're driving their cars with oxygen bottles to give them oxygen so they can drive. 30 years ago, they didn't do that. They didn't drive. They were home. They were stuck at home. Now they're going shopping. I was at Best Buy the other day, and I swear there was 5 or 6 people in these go-karts zooming around Best Buy. And that's not an older crowd. That's a younger crowd.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what they did. They didn't have wheelchairs. There wasn't anybody pushing them. They had these little Zoom carts that they get in, But they're just as disabled as your family was 40 years ago that would sit out on the porch and have to be pushed back into the house. There's more mobility with these carts, these moto carts. And there's more, they're extending, I guess the quality of life is getting better because they can go and do things, but they're never really correcting the problem, Mike. That's the deal.
Yeah. And
it's so common. And if people knew that, they would walk out of these places. Say, I don't want that pill. I want to find out why this is. Well, sir, you're going to have to start eating and exercising. Do you know what that means? Oh, I'm not going to cut out my sweets. What are you saying? Can I just have a pill to fix the problem? This is a great story. So this guy was a very intelligent person. He's educated. He's a scientist. And you know what he said? So we went over this about the weight, and I called him out and said that, you're in free fall. That's what these drugs mean. You're not realizing how serious this condition is. And he says to me, Doc, I just want to find the right combination. Maybe it's hormonal. Maybe it's my enzymes. He doesn't understand, but this is what he's looking for. I'm looking for a molecular reasoning behind why I'm gaining this weight.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to find it. And so I'm there with his wife and I'm looking at him and I said, can I point something out to you? I said, you got 4 problems that you need to address: portion control, frequency, quality of calories, and you got to exercise. Those are the 4 things you need to be looking for, because you're not going to find the magic enzyme that's going to allow you to continue to eat like crap, to skip meals, to have, to overeat and to not exercise. You're not going to find the solution that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, come on. That it was almost, and he said, and when I did it, his wife, who takes care of him, she looks at me, she goes, with her thumbs up, nailed him, Doc.
Nice.
Nailed him. He's so intelligent. And I said, you know what I said you're doing? I said, you're rationalizing. So it gets even better. So I asked him, I said, we're going over the food habits and how much he eats. And, he's skipping meals, which is common, thinking that you're losing weight when you skip meals. But I was waiting to find out about the nighttime snacking, and they all got it, So I said, so you got to dinner, and I said, so are you having any sweets or snacks after dinner? No. I said, so, and of course the wife is like, her eyes go up,
Liar.
So I'm like, no, let me ask you again. So are you eating anything after any sweet or sure, cookies, ice cream, anything, after dinner? And he goes, no. And she says, you're lying. Tell him the truth. And she goes, what about those pies? And what about that? And he's like, well, that's dessert after my meal.
So it's in his mind that was part of dinner.
He includes it with dinner, so it isn't like he's snacking late,
right?
Because he included it with his dinner, but it's still a sweet after his normal meal, which is empty calories, empty carbs. But to him, that was a freebie. No, right. You don't count that. And I'm like, you got to count it. It's a slice of pie. It's an ice cream bowl with with strawberry drippings over it. It's it's a 300 calorie wallop at the end of a 600 to 800 calorie meal. That's what I'm asking about. But because it was part of the dessert routine, he didn't think it was something that should even really be mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's what you call rationalization. You can rationalize yourself out of anything.
Sure.
If you give yourself enough time, intelligent enough. And the other rationalization was, if I could just find this hormonal challenge, why this is happening. And what was really interesting was his past was that of a very, very fit guy. I mean, a sports guy, a Marine, a Camp Lejeune, triathlon guy.
So he's probably used to being able to eat whatever he wants.
And that's what I told him. And I said, your real problem is you've thrown caution to the wind as to what you've eaten. You've eaten anything you want, whenever you want, as much as you want, because your metabolism and your was really high. I said, and now you're kind of at this point where, God's telling you, or, you got to back off on the calories. Look at what's happening, yet you're fighting it through rationalization and your old thinking from the past. Well, it was a tough consult.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? He signed.
He did.
He did. I let him go. I said, you just think about it. I was getting backed up, and I said, you go think about it. But, I'd love to help you, and I know I can help you, and I'll try to make this as painless as possible. And I think he really appreciated me coming back and asking him a lot of questions about himself and trying to point out these issues, because, I had another guy who told me that he has a plan. He was, we went to consult, and he kind of, I have a plan. And I looked at him, I said, could you share it with me? I'd love to know, cause I just gave him my plan. Now he's got a plan. And I said, I'd love to see, because I can tell you if it's better than my plan, more power to you. But I do this for a living, and I know I've heard all the plans,
mm-hmm.
and I've seen a lot of the plans not work. And there's a few things that all plans have to have. So if you'd like to share it with me, I could counsel you and give you some great suggestions on your plan. He didn't want to share it with me, as you could imagine. I love people. I really do. That's one of my strong character traits. I've always enjoyed people, even as a kid, even at, I hated sitting at the dinner table at restaurants. I would go around and meet everybody at the different tables, and it's just my nature. So I don't really mind sitting down and doing consultations with people. I had another consult with a woman's husband who has a chronic back problem, which I'm not treating anymore as a chiropractor, but I have a lot of knowledge about what to do. And he's got a bilateral foot drop in both of his feet. He can't stand on his toes, and he's only in his 40s. And I asked him, I said, when did this happen where you can't stand on your toes? He goes, I don't know. I don't remember. And I'm like, so, you've got this long history of going to the doctors. You had a surgery 2 years ago. Did you have this foot drop after the surgery, before? And he goes, I really don't know. And I was like, that's bizarre not to know that you can't use your leg. Usually you know exactly when it happened over time. So I sent him to a very competent chiropractor. I'll give him a plug. Dr. Jerry True, who practices on East Ocean there. He's right by Palm Beach Road. He's a chiropractic board certified neurologist, and he can get to the reason why he has having this muscle loss of use of his legs. And at the end of this, I spent about 40 minutes with him, and he said he was ready to pay. And I said, you don't owe me anything. He goes, what do you mean? He goes, I just want to be helpful. You're my client's husband, and nothing I could really do for you as far as the laser goes. But so don't worry about it. Go see Dr. True and see what he says. Promise me you'll go see Dr. True. So anyway, you're listening to the Slim Body Laser Spa. We are Martin County's #1 laser body sculpting center. My name is Dr. Tread Rissacker, and I'm the guy that brought the lipo laser to Stuart, Florida. We have a program. It's fantastic. It's superb. It really works. It really works. Did I tell you it really works? 772-223-5885. Go online, slimbodylaserspa.com, hit the contact page, AWeber me, and I will AWeber you back with a consultation and a time. The first visit can be $49 if you qualify. Give us a call. It's so much love to help you. And for everybody else, enjoy this beautiful weather. It is officially summertime.
The opinions expressed are those of the program host and guest and are not those of WSTU. WSTU does not endorse products that may be mentioned.